Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first lecture in CS 124 Honors, Lecture 0. We are so excited to bring this to you today. Some quick announcements before we begin. If you haven't filled out the enrollment confirmation form already, it is linked here in the slides. We will post these in the Discord once the lecture is done. Please be sure to fill out the enrollment confirmation form. It is super important. Failure to fill this out could lead to an unsatisfactory in the course. Along with filling out the enrollment confirmation form, please make sure that if you're a James Scholar, you filled out the proper HCLA form to get your honors credit. And if you're not a James Scholar, please make sure that you've registered for the course on self-service. If you haven't joined our Discord already, please be sure to do that as well. The Discord is where, like, our hub for communication. It's where all our announcements will be. We'll have important information about midterm and final presentations, updates throughout the course, and also special events. So please be sure to be on there for all the updated info.
Okay, so before we get started, I just wanted to go over some of the goals that we have for today for this lecture. We'll start off by introducing ourselves and also the course, and then go over some of the major goals that we have for the course, as well as the main content that we'll be covering. We'll also be talking about the different lectures that we plan to cover over the semester, as well as the key points in the syllabus, just to get you acquainted with the course before we get started. So let's start by introducing ourselves. Hi, everyone. I'm Ranjani. I am currently a sophomore studying computer science, and I'm minoring in economics. This is my second semester with 124 honors, and last semester I was a PM, and this is my first semester as course lead, and I'm super excited to be working with all of you this semester.
Yep, my name is Rohan. I am the other course lead for this semester. I am currently a sophomore, majoring in computer science and economics and minoring in business. This will actually be my third semester with the course. I've been a project manager in my spring semester and head PM last semester, so I'm super excited to be working again with the 124 Honors community. So in this class, the work that you'll be doing is actually a 90-10 split between lectures and homework and projects. Lectures and homework will actually be the beginning part of the class. By watching lecture 0, you are working on this part. It is going to include the Prairie Learn assignments that you get based on the lectures that we release. The Prairie Learn assignments include some questions on Git, Bash, and project idea formation. Once you complete those assignments and we have our project kickoff, which is where you will meet your team and your project managers, that is where you will receive more information on how to proceed with your projects, which will be the remainder of the semester, about 90% of it. You will work with your project managers and your team members to come up with a project idea and then see it to its completion.
Okay. So some details about how the project will be run for the semester. So first, we'll work on breaking you guys into smaller groups, and your group members are who you will be working on the projects with. These groups are usually about 4 to 6 people, and you guys are working towards a common project. As for what the project is about, the main specialty of this class is that it is a structured but an open-ended project-based class. So the project that you'll be working on is something that you guys are collectively passionate about. And as for the structure, you will be guided through this process by about 1 to 2 project managers. And our PMs are usually past students of the course, and so they have a lot of knowledge about how the course works and the logistics. And they're also super experienced, so they're here to support you as well as mentor you through any technical difficulties that you might have throughout the process.
So why is this project experience important? By being part of 124 Honors, you're taking an important step into boosting your resume and gaining experience when you talk with recruiters during career fairs or when you're applying for internships or full-time positions. It gives you something you can talk about. It adds to your resume the fact that you have experience with teamwork and collaboration skills. We'll be working on a project that is meaningful to you and the rest of your team. In terms of meeting with your team, you'll gain experience working through a combination of remote, in-person, and hybrid meetings. And most importantly, you'll be working in an agile setting, which is the industry standard for team management. Companies across the world use agile or are switching to agile when it comes to proper team management and effective communication between their team members. And lastly, you will be get used to using proper version control. In this class, we use Git, which is used ubiquitously across the industry. So it will give you good practice with that.
Okay, so I did cover this a little bit earlier, but going back to it, what is the project going to be on? And the answer is that it's whatever you want it to be. We know that everybody has some great ideas. You probably have had a passion project that you wanted to implement for a really long time. And we hope that 124 Honors provides some structure and guidance for you to reach that goal, and also in a collaborative and in a team setting. So you will be working with our PMs who will guide you through the process, and you'll also be attending different events and the lectures that we have, which are course-wide. So you get to interact with other PMs as well as other peers and learn a lot from everybody's ideas and experiences.
Okay, so here's kind of the overall project timeline. The first thing that you'll be doing, and you'll actually be doing this as part of your homework before we have our project kickoff, you'll be brainstorming and sharing with us some ideas you might have for a project. Whatever ideas that you submit for your homework will actually be shared with your PM. So that way, when you guys meet up as a team, you will have some ideas to start talking. Second, based on what you tell us in your enrollment confirmation form and with your project ideas, we will pair you up with students and mentors who share similar interests. So you'll be working with like-minded peers and project managers. Thirdly, you will work with your team to come up with an idea for a minimum viable product. And a minimum viable product, in summary, is a set of expectations for what your project will have at its bare minimum. So you will come up with the idea and those set of expectations. And then lastly, throughout the project, throughout the semester, we will have a midterm presentation and a final presentation to showcase your progress.
Okay, so to talk about some of the lectures that we have planned for this semester, like Rohan mentioned earlier, during the first couple of weeks of the course, before you're put into your groups to start on your projects, we hope to ramp you up and give you some introductory technical concepts through lectures that will be on YouTube. And you can find the links to these lectures on Discord as well as YouTube. So frequently check the Discord. Like Rohan mentioned, that is going to be a primary mode of communication for this class. The lectures we plan to have will cover some super important topics that everybody will be using across their projects. Some of these include Git and Bash. And we also have a project lecture where we'll be going over some important tech stacks that we feel everybody will find useful in all of their projects. And there are also some other exciting offers in terms of lectures that we have where we'll be going over some other interesting content.
Okay, so our first lecture will actually be released on Sunday, January 28th on YouTube. This lecture will be covering Git, which is, like I mentioned earlier, our primary version control system for this course. Git is in essence a software that allows you to track changes to project files, and it allows for like simple collaboration with your teammates and your developers, allowing for like, file recovery in case you make any mistakes during your project. You can revert and do so much more. You will use Git for other classes at UIUC if you continue down the CS track. You will also be using Git to showcase your own projects in the future, and it is definitely used across different companies across industry. So you will see it at your internship or at your full-time job.
Yeah, and we also have another lecture, which is the project lecture. This will be released on Tuesday, January 30th. And this is just the final lecture that you will have before you get started off on your projects. So here we plan to cover some general categories of all the projects that you might be working on. So some of the general categories that we have planned are like web dev, mobile dev, AI/ML, game dev, things like that. We'll also be talking about the project process and the pipeline. So how do you start when you have an idea? How do you translate it into an MVP? And based on that MVP, how do you pick an appropriate tech stack? And we hope that that'll equip you to start working with your team and your project manager to come up with an amazing project by the end of the semester.
So there will also be some optional topic-specific lectures going forward. These are lectures that are going to be recorded by our own staff members on very specific tech stack-related topics. So if you have any questions about a certain tech stack that you're using that you see a lecture for, or you're just curious about what's out there, please feel free to watch these lectures. That they're there for you. And they're a great resource to kind of learn more in depth about something that you might be working with or that you're interested in working with. Some of these topics could include more in detail about Bash, machine learning, talking about databases and website development.
Okay, so during the beginning of this course, you will also have some amount of homework that you'll have to finish so that we understand how you were able to engage with the lectures that we have in line for you, and also like a basic understanding of important concepts such as Git. So the first homework that you'll be required to complete is the Git homework. And this is basically a practice. It's for you to practically understand the content that we'll be covering in the Git lecture, and it will be released on the 28th of January, and you must complete it by the end of the semester. However, we definitely want you guys to complete it as soon as you can, and ideally before you start working on your projects, so that you really know how Git works and you can clarify things with us or with your project managers. We also have a project idea homework, and this is going to be distributed by a Google form. And the project idea homework, which we touched upon briefly earlier, is basically a way for you to brainstorm and develop project ideas, which will be then shared with your PMs and the rest of your group. So it's like a starting point for you to decide what project you'll be working on over the semester.
So like we mentioned earlier, the registration homework is due on January 29th, which is actually the course ad deadline for the university. And the project idea homework and the Git homework are due um, uh, by February 1st. So this is going to be 2 days before project kickoff. If you need to, you can take until the end of the semester to complete it, but this is when we recommend that you finish the homework by, so that when you go into project kickoff, it is a lot easier to kind of follow up and discuss.
Also, we also want to provide you guys a framework system for you to get some help on these homeworks. So we have office hours, which are going to be held between the 26th of January and the 2nd of February over Discord. So here you can come to get some help on the homeworks. If you're struggling with Git or you want to learn more about some of the concepts that we covered, you can come talk to our staff. So these office hours are going to be held by all of our PMs as well as the two of us. So if you want to just come and chat, you can definitely do that. You will also see that PMs will list their areas of expertise. And so if you wanted to talk about some concepts in those areas of expertise, or you wanted to understand more about those things, you can definitely visit their office hours. A more detailed schedule on who is going to be conducting office hours when and what their areas of interest are will be released soon. And all of the questions that you have, you can put them on the homework Git questions channel on Discord.
So this is our timeline for the semester. And things may vary as we go on, but these are the dates that we see kind of going forward. So we're starting with lecture 0 today. The Git homework will be released starting tomorrow, and the registration homework will be coming out soon after that. Lecture 1 will be coming out either on Saturday or Sunday. And then we'll be following that up with the project idea homework and the project idea lecture. And hopefully you will have those done before project kickoff, which is going to be on February 3rd. The dates for our midterm and final presentation are going to be March 2nd for midterm presentation, and then April 20th for the final presentation.
Okay, so now we want to talk about how you'll be receiving credit for this class. So first of all, it is super important for non-GM scholars to sign up for the class. So to sign up for the class, you can register on self-service. So you have to look up the CS 199124 class and register for it on self-service. For GM scholars, we will need you to fill out the HCLA form for 124, and you should not be enrolled in the CS 199, 124, because you just need to submit the HCLE agreement with your department. And then it is super, super important for everyone to fill out the enrollment confirmation form. This is how we keep track of everybody who's in the course. And if you do not fill out this course, you will not receive a satisfactory in this class. So it is super important to do the enrollment confirmation form. So just to summarize one more time, non-GM scholars sign up for the class on self-service. GM scholars fill out your HCLA agreement, do not register for the class, and everybody needs to fill out the enrollment confirmation form. Yeah, that's about it for this slide.
So this is actually a visual representation of a rubric. This is kind of what we'll be looking at to evaluate your satisfactory or unsatisfactory for the course. So we want to basically we'll be checking like your attendance. So did you come to midterm and final presentations? Did you present with your team? Did you treat other groups with respect while they presented? So as long as your group is not being obnoxious, these are basically 3 points. Then we have our homework. So for the registration homework, we want to make sure that you register properly. If you're a James Scholar, we want to make sure that you filled out the HCLA, and if you're not, we want to make sure you filled out the self-service registration and also completed the enrollment confirmation form for both James Scholars and non-James Scholars. For the Git homework, and the project homework, we just want to make sure that you completed those and got those in by the deadline. And then we want to make sure that you attend at least one 124 honors event apart from the midterm and final presentations, and we'll go more into that a little bit later. And you need to submit proof of that attendance as well, and all those details will come in just a second.
Yeah, so talking about the mandatory attendance, this is the new aspect that we've introduced in the course. So throughout the semester, we will be holding a bunch of super exciting events with different other organizations related to Illinois CS. In the past, we've done events with WCS, with ACM, and different other clubs like that. So we want to facilitate more course-wide interaction between our students because we really think that you can learn a lot from your peers as well as these other offerings that Illinois CS has to offer. So you will be required to attend at least one event over the semester, which are not the project kickoff, the midterm presentation, or the final presentation. And as proof of attendance, you will be required to send a picture or like a selfie of you at the event to your PM, so they will be tracking attendance. And so, yeah, we hope that you benefit from attending these events and have a great time with all of the things that we have lined up for you.
So Along with that, we just want to dive a little bit more into how the grading will go on a weekly basis. So the way our course works is that we have sprints. A sprint is 1 week long, and in each sprint, you will be meeting with your project managers, and you will be meeting with the rest of your team members to kind of update each other on progress and to work through any bugs or difficulties if needed, or just do some teamwork if necessary. And you'll continue to work throughout the sprint and then meet again the following sprint. So every week, what we look for in those meetings is basically attendance. That creates a lot of the grading. Were you present at the meeting, or did you have an excused absence or not? Were you able to satisfactorily complete the task that you were given? And this involves a lot of things. Even if you tried really hard and you put in the effort, and yet we're not able to complete the task, that is totally okay. That still counts as a satisfactory. And the last bit of the grading is individual communication. So are you making sure that you're properly communicating with your PM and with your fellow team members? That is also something that is looked at while we consider grading. So in terms of absences, we want you to be present to as many meetings as possible. And the grading for this class, like we said, is fairly lenient. We want as many students as possible to get satisfactory, and it is very simple to get satisfactory as long as everyone is present and participating well at their team meetings. So 2 unexcused absences will be counted as excused absences when we are doing our grading. So try not to miss more than 2 absences unless you have a valid excuse or reason, in which case you can communicate with your PM.
Okay, so next we'll be talking a little bit about the expected time commitment for this class. So we do realize that it is a 0 credit hour class and you will be taking other classes along with it. So this is the general overview of the time commitment that we have in mind. Firstly, during the first couple of weeks, you will be going over the lesson videos as well as completing the homework, and that should take about 1 to 2 hours to finish completely. On top of that, once you start working on your project, you will be having the project meetings, which are like check-ins with the rest of your group, as well as with your PM. And this should ideally be between 30 minutes to an hour per week. And outside of the meeting, you'll have to be completing your work that's been assigned by your PM for the project, and also, maintaining contact with your peers and communicating with them as you get the project done. And that should be about 1 to 2 hours again per week. So the total workload is probably about 2.5 to 4 hours per week.
So I just want to talk a little bit about the information flow for the class and where you can go if you have any questions or need any assistance with anything. So if you have any questions, technically, like let's say you're working on your project and you have some technical questions regarding your tech stack, or if you have any questions about homework or about the course in general, the first place you should go to is the Discord. There are channels clearly labeled for where you can ask your questions, so please feel free to ask your question in the appropriate channel. If you have any questions about your project group or about lecture, please feel free to also do that on Discord. There are places where you can ask questions for that as well. If you want to look for recorded lectures, we will post them on Discord, but the lectures will be on our YouTube channel. So please look there if you want to refer back to any of the lectures. And lastly, the homework will be on Prairie Learn. So all assignments for the class will be on Prairie Learn, and we'll have a link to our Prairie Learn on the Discord as well.
Okay, so like we mentioned earlier, Discord is going to be our primary mode of communication for this class. So any homework, any important announcements that we have relating to, the logistics of this course, everything will be communicated through Discord. And this is the only official platform. While your PM might choose to use other platforms of communication, the main source of communication from the two of us will come through Discord. So for this purpose, please make sure that you rename yourself on Discord. This is super important. And the format that we want you to rename yourself is have your preferred name and then your net ID in the bracket. So you can see here, for example, there's Ranjani, and then in brackets, you have RR37, which is my net ID. This is super important because we need this to be visible so we can assign you to your groups. So when we put you into your groups on Discord for your channels with your PM and the rest of your peers, it'll be a lot easier for us and as well for you if you comply with this and you're able to rename yourself as soon as possible. And also we really need you to do this. And so if your nickname is not updated by the 5th of February, you will be removed from the Discord server. And so you will not be able to be a part of the class. You won't be receiving any communication. So please remember to rename yourself.
So if for any reason you find yourself needing to drop the course or would like to drop the course, the university deadline to drop the course is March 8th. That is when you can drop without receiving a withdrawal on your transcript. So please, when you drop the course, you can go through the university procedures to drop. So for example, you can unregister from self-service. And then once you do that, please feel free to fill out the course drop confirmation form. This is mandatory if you drop the course. This is the only way we will know if you have officially dropped the course. Otherwise, this can impact grading and cause problems going forward. So please fill out the course drop confirmation form and follow the university guidelines for dropping if you find that you need to drop 104 honors. Yeah, thank you so much. That is all we have for lecture 0. If you need to refer back to this lecture, it will be posted on our YouTube channel, as well as our other lectures, which are coming soon. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email either Ranjani or I or message us on Discord. Thank you so much.